Hey guys, how are you today? I hope you're doing amazing today. I just made whole grain pancakes and they're so good. They smell so good and I just can't wait to eat them. I haven't eaten them yet, so I can't wait. Usually I put some sugar-free chocolate with stevia and hazelnuts on them, and oh my god. So good, so good, so good. And I drink them, also, sorry, I eat them with like unpasteurized fresh milk, just straight from the cows, basically. They have these like little fridges in Bulgaria where I'm at. And you can just go and you can leave the money. It's almost like a vending machine for milk, but it's not really. You just open the little door, the little glass door or the fridge. You get the milk out and you just like leave the money there. And of course they have cameras, so it's really interesting, and yeah, the milk is super fresh. It's unpasteurized. It's got a lot of probiotics. It's extremely healthy, basically. And so yeah, we're really fortunate to be where I'm at because the place is so it's very natural, basically, so it's good for the soul. Okay. So in this video, interestingly, I will be discussing soul. Okay, soul, our soul, right? And I will discuss what happens when you lose your soul, right? And how it happens. Okay, I won't discuss. I won't be discussing how to get your soul back. Okay, but I will probably make a separate video about that. Okay, discussing that. But I will discuss what happens when you lose your soul, right? But technically speaking, right, guys, you can't really lose your soul. Okay. Soul loss refers to kind of being disconnected to your soul. Okay, or becoming disconnected to your soul. It refers to dissociation, basically, right? And the psychological term is dissociation, right? So being disconnected, being dissociated from your soul. Usually the reason why people lose their souls, right, is because of deep traumas that happen. Okay, they can happen because of psychological traumas, because of abuses, right? Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and it can happen through blockages that have taken root. Okay, and so this is the reason why a lot of us kind of lose our soul, right, or become disconnected from our soul. Okay, and so this is, I will give you a couple of examples on how it can happen, right? So, like a big example now, it's like probably all over the mainstream news, right? Is that the drama with P Diddy, right? And the reason why I will give you examples from the entertainment industry is because I was in it myself, right? And also I think maybe, I don't know if, how many of you that are actually are watching my channel are interested in this stuff, like pop culture and the entertainment industry, right? Probably not too many of you, but I will give you an example of this is because it was such an unfortunate thing that happened, and it made me really sad. And I will give you an example of this, because one example is Justin Bieber, right? Justin Bieber and P Diddy, right? And so I don't know if, how many of you are aware of this, of Diddy's freak-offs, right? He's in jail right now, right? And basically a lot of celebrities are involved in his freak-offs or his parties, right? And so one unfortunate guy that ended up being a part of those freak-offs is Justin Bieber, right? And he was only, I think, 14 or 15 years old when he came into the industry, right? And so, of course, so now a lot of people are now becoming very aware that, and they're actually speaking out about this too, right? Is that they're saying how Diddy freak-offs were actually very satanic in nature, right? And so, and of course, right? And so they got this Justin, right, who was young, who was naive, who was just very, he had this sparkle, this godly sparkle in his eyes. His soul was very much present, very much there, right? But after the freak-offs, right, after the party, and you guys can imagine what was involved, right? He was basically taken advantage of, right? And by Diddy and a lot of other people who attended, right? And so uh, Justin, he underwent a major soul disconnect after that party, right? And the reason being is because he was sexually abused, used, yeah, right? And so there was a lot of trauma, right, involved, and so he was traumatized, basically, okay? And he's not the only example. Um, a lot of other, not celebrities, but a lot of other people that wanted to enter, like influencers too, actually, right? So a lot of influencers, they spoke about certain parties that involved a lot of satanic like rituals, okay, and initiations that they had to go through in order to become a part of that dark industry, basically, okay, or the Hollywood, right, aka Hollywood. So and so of course those parties, that they would involve some kind of a trauma, right? They would involve some kind of, sleeping with someone, people, random people, right? Doing the things that you don't want to do, right? Something that goes against your soul, okay? And so that's the reason why I'm bringing this up. But Justin, of course, he's on his healing journey now, right? And so he just had a baby, right? And he came to God. He found Jesus again, right? And and he's still relatively young too, right? And so it's good that he managed to deal with his trauma and to start healing from it, basically, right? And so yeah, that's just one example of what can happen to people, that don't necessarily, it can happen to people that are young, very young, and innocent and naive still, right? And so I, for one, I can tell you guys from experience that I've had so many situations like this where I was given an opportunity. Like, you either take the money, right? Take this fame, take this, this sand, basically, right? That's not gonna last, and give me your soul, give me your innocence, and fortunately, for the most part, right? Although I did go through a very, very brutal experience, and I will talk to you about this later on. Definitely not in this video, right? And when I'm ready, or also, but it had something to do with my mom, okay? And yeah, I'm not gonna go into it, basically, not in this video, okay? But fortunately, I didn't succumb to those pressures of being offered so many different worldly things in exchange for my soul, basically, okay? So that's good, I'm very proud of that, and at that time it wasn't even a question, and so what happens, right, when you dissociate from your soul? Basically, when we dissociate from our soul, right, is we form an ego, we form another identity, okay? We form a defense mechanism, basically, okay? And that's our ego, right? In order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to be liked, in order to feel safe, okay? And so the majority of us remain in that ego for the rest of our lives, right? And so that's why I believe so many people do not come to their purpose, do not find their purpose, right? It's because when you dissociate from yourself, from your soul, you become like a zombie. You become like an aimless zombie without a purpose. you begin to feel like there is an emptiness within you, which there is, right? Because in a way, not only are you disconnected from your soul, but you're also disconnected to source, right? To our God, right? And so to Jesus Christ, right? And so due to that disconnect, right? Due to that soul loss, to that soul disconnect, you feel like something is missing within you. So you're trying and you become depressed, right? You become, those are the symptoms, right, of soul loss too. It's like depression, right? Anxiety, eating disorders, right? And so on, right? Also, right, what can end up happening, and that's just psychologically speaking, right? What can end up happening is that, you basically disconnect, or you bury the unconsciously, right? You bury the, or you've got shadows, right, or dark aspects of yourself, the dark shadows, right, that haven't been integrated, right? So you disconnect from those, right? And so those dark aspects of you, that haven't been integrated, they've been suppressed, right? And so all of that suppressing, all of that unconscious, all of those unconscious shadows of yourself, because they've been buried, right, deep down, what manifests is depression, anxiety, and eating disorders and all of that good stuff, right? And so you can call it that, or we can go back to the Bible, right, and blame it on, or not blame it, that's a terrible word. Perhaps there's something bigger that's at play, okay, when it comes to that, okay? And perhaps that's why so many dark entities, dark spirits, demons, right? They want you to become traumatized. They want to traumatize so they can take advantage of that, right? And possess someone, oppress someone, okay? And they want to get them while they're young too, right? So that's the biggest problem. That's why we as adults, we have to protect our young. We have to protect them, not just physically, right? But physically, of course, but spiritually, in every way, right? And so that's very important too, right? But anyways, let's get back to the demons, the dark entities, right? And so in psychology, right, you can call it the dark shadows of ourselves, right? It's the dark areas that we haven't addressed yet, that have been buried, right? And we're not consciously aware of them, right? So, but then again, you can say that they're dark entities, they're demons, they're that's what's suppressing us, and that's what's, so I don't care whichever way you want to put this, or whichever way you want to look at this. It's really ultimately up to you, right? But the Bible does say that we're not in a battle against the flesh. We're battling basically spirits, right? And so there's that, right? There are a lot of places in the Bible that are very specific about this, okay? And so you can't just discount this, right? It's kind of like discounting your soul too, right? It's the same. It's there, and as long as you continue to ignore it, right? And as long as you continue to ignore that it's there, you're not going to address it. You're not going to heal it. You're not going to find your true purpose. You're not going to live in your true purpose, right? And guys, I think that we're not here to suffer. We're not here to suffer. A lot of us, I know, and that was me for most of my life too, right? I had depression for most of my life. Did I have anxiety? Probably not, but I had like eating disorders. I had, I had an addiction to exercise, okay? That was a huge problem that actually caused miscarriage for me that I wasn't even aware of at the time, okay? And it wasn't just that caused it, you know, but that was, I'm sure, a part of the reason too, you know. And so yeah, guys, like, you don't have to suffer. You can uh, get your soul back, right? You can heal, and you can begin to live in your purpose, okay? And by living in your purpose, guys, trust me, I'm doing this right now. It is the best thing in the world, okay? Because it is so emotionally fulfilling, you know, and you don't feel like you're working. You feel like you just feel so on top of the world, you know. Living in your purpose just feels so good, you know. And I might make a separate video, right, about this, but living in your purpose will often you will have to go against everything that you know, that you've been taught. You might have to go against a lot of other people, right? Because people often don't believe in themselves. They're also disconnected from themselves, right? And so they're going to, out of their own fears, which they're going to be projecting onto you, they're going to try to pull you down, right? And so they're gonna, you know, like, for example, maybe someone wants you to be a doctor, right, or something, and you don't want to. Deep down, you know, and you know it in your heart and your soul that that's not what you're meant to be doing, right? I've met a doctor like this, right? I think I made a video about this already, right? But I was in a coffee shop, right? And I just met a random guy. We just started talking. Like, I wasn't attracted to him or anything, right? Like, physically, right? Just, I like to talk to people, right? And so he was interesting, like, and we just had like a little chat, right? And he told me about how, you know, he was a doctor, but he wanted to be a writer, you know. And so I was like, okay, I hear you, you know. You probably became a doctor because of family pressures, right? It's often like in the family, right? Or maybe, you know, he grew up very, very poor, right? So his family maybe wanted him to get into that kind of one of those fields, right? The STEM field, to make a lot of money, right? But really, at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about you being in your purpose. And in order to be in your purpose, you have to be connected to your emotions. You have to be connected to your soul, so you can hear what you're meant to be doing, right? And so that's extremely important too, okay? And I think I might end it right here, guys. I think I will make another video, okay, talking about like soul retrieval, okay, and how you can retrieve your soul, because I've been able to do that myself. And yeah, you have to retrieve your soul. You have to heal in order to live out your true purpose, because every single one of us has a purpose. And if we step into this purpose, despite what anyone says, then so many people can benefit from that. It's not just you that will benefit from you, because you will thrive, you will become this light, but so many other people will benefit from it, trust me, you know. So and you'll also be like an inspiration to other people, you know, for other people. Like, they'll want to be like you, but because they will see your light, and they will follow you. You'll become like a leader, okay? You'll become like a beacon of light that other people can follow too, out of their own darkness, you know. Anyways, so thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you in another video, okay? I'm gonna go eat my pancakes.